Hello, everyone. This is Will,
And this is Alex.
and welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Ooh. Mostly.
Mostly.
You notice?
Yeah,
We sound a little different.
we sound a little better.
You know why?
Oh my god.
Because we're fucking dumb.
We can't tell the story until
However-
the live stream.
However, if you want to hear the rest of the story,
Yes.
you will have to tune in to the Mostly Come Out at Night live stream podcast
Yes, you will.
on March 31st, Sunday morning. You have to tune in.
But don't worry. We have an actual audio setup now.
As you may have noticed,
We good.
we Gucci.
Now we have two microphones
That fucking...
that sound great.
Yes, they work as they were intended to work.
What a concept.
What an absolute wild concept.
Wow.
Who would have thought? Can you imagine expecting things to work?
I feel like a fucking idiot, dude.
We are idiots.
So, like we were supposed to do on Thursday's episode, but we didn't record a fucking thing
Because we're stupid.
because we're dumb and had to play around with fucking audio stuff all night.
All goddamn night.
Because, listen, this is our first venture, okay? It's not like I've recorded anything before.
No, never will.
Like, I don't usually record things.
No, will. No.
So, I don't know this shit.
Well, we learned.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a learning process.
We fucking learned. And now we're woke.
Yes.
We're fucking
I am
woke.
so glad.
It came just in time. Just in time.
Yep, so now we can actually officially do our review of The Witch That Came from the Sea.
As we were supposed to.
So without further ado, here it is.
Here it is. Now, this is going to be, I guess for me at least, a pretty, like, non-joking review summation of this movie.
There's some jokes we could make,
I
but like,
could, but I probably won't. I will say this. I'm just going to tell you right now. Go watch this movie.
please. This is another movie it's really good. So go watch it.
Yeah, The
Like-
Witch Who Came from the Sea. It's on Amazon Prime. I think there's a copy on YouTube. I'm not sure. Just go watch it.
This movie is insanity, but it's great.
This is actual good shit. If you want to see like actual horror, as in horrifying shit,
Yes.
and be disturbed, as you know, horror intended, God forbid, watch this movie. Just be aware that it is pretty fucking. It's not really for the squeamish, I'd say.
No, not at all. I don't think it is at all.
Yeah, it's not for the squeamish or the faint of heart, but I think you should all watch it because that's why I'm saying this right now before we get into our review.
Yeah.
You should watch this.
Now, yeah, this, I'm just thinking about how horribly Thursday night went. But I really loved the movie, so, like, I'm really happy that we get to revisit it and, like, kind of, like, think about it after, like, thinking about it
After
for
thinking about it for a couple
a
days.
couple days. Like, I actually, like, thought about it more
Yeah.
when we had the break. So, like, I was able to kind of more collect what are going to be my final thoughts on this film.
This is and for me, this is my second time watching it, so it's just for me, it just confirms like all my previous thoughts about this movie.
Now, I just also want to apologize. My voice probably sounds kind of hoarse. I think I'm getting sick, and I will be coughing throughout the episode, so just bear with me.
Disgusting.
Not very much, but I will try and I'll keep it at a minimum. But just know I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me, guys. All right. So, Witch Who Came from the Sea, 1976. Let's get into it.
All right.
So, we get a scene, beginning scene. There's three people on a beach,
And it's one shot, and it's just kind of see the waves crashing on the beach, and they're just like slowly coming closer and closer while the credits roll.
right. And so, like, we get what we think are three people, like, walking down the beach, and like it slowly becomes more and more clear that it's a woman and two kids.
Yeah.
And the kids are running around on the beach and, like, trying to, like, jump in the water, and, like, the woman's just walking, and kind of like, kind of spacing out almost.
Yeah.
And so they're walking, and the next scene is they're just sitting at the beach.
The kids are like kind of playing around, and they start talking about like the ocean and stuff, and asking her about Grandpa.
Yeah, their grandpa.
And like, you said like, and she starts saying, "Oh yeah, Grandpa was a sailor,
But he was lost at sea.
but he was lost at sea." And they start talking about this a little more, and it's almost like you can already tell something's
Something's off. Like, apparently, like, Grandpa didn't just get lost at sea. You can tell something's like kind of afoot.
something's off, and like the way the main character like explains things is very like kind of like disconnected
Yes.
and almost just very like metaphorical. She's not talking in real terms essentially.
Right. So they talk about that, and the one of the kids starts burying the other kid in the sand, and and the woman looks over, and there's these guys
Like working out on the beach.
There's like a beach gym,
Yeah, and it's like these like bodybuilder
and they're all
type
working
guys.
out. One guy's on like the rings, and he's like holding himself up. Another guy's doing like these pull ups and like swinging himself on a bar, and then one guy's lifting weights.
Yeah, and she just keeps like kind of looking at them and kind of admiring them.
And then
Then it slowly becomes.
it becomes more and more apparent she's like kind of oogling them,
She's oogling them, and then like
because it starts showing their crotches.
she's looking like she's very like objectifying them.
Yes.
And then the music starts getting kind of like more weird, and she starts kind of like rubbing her head, and you see like what the guy on the rings is like kind of raising himself up, and then he falls over.
Yep. And then one of the guys is like lifting weights, and you see like he like is like struggling really hard, and then like it's kind of cartoony, but like blood like comes out of his eyes burst out of his skull. And then the third guy,
one of them is like he's like hanging.
He's hanging from like the loops that he was like holding himself
And it's
up
like
on.
they choked him.
Yeah.
And he's like hanging there with like blood coming out of his mouth and like his tongue out. And one of the guys who like fell off is like he broke his like
neck,
and he's like bleeding out on the sand.
Yeah. I was this scene is so unexpected. It's crazy. I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and this is the first 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they start going home.
So they talk a little bit more about Grandpa, but it's not like anything important. It's
They
just
walk past a tattoo parlor.
Yeah. And
they see all these like the tattoo parlor has all these like kind of fantastical creatures on there.
right, and they're like, we want a tattoo, and like the mom, well, not the mom.
She's their aunt.
The woman is like, you don't get tattoos. Like, your body's a temple. Like, you don't.
Tattoos are like for basically saying tattoos are trashy.
You don't defile your body with tattoos, is what she's saying.
Tattoos are trashy.
And then the shop owner comes out, and he's like this weird ass guy with like a dragon tattoo on his
dragon face tattoo.
The man with the dragon tattoo. And so he's like looking at him all weird, and he just smiles and like goes back into the shop. And they walk home, and then we meet dear old mother. Oh boy.
Oh, this poor woman.
Man, this poor woman.
She's like kind of sewing some stuff because you find out later that that's what she does. She makes these like quilts and stuff.
I will say this is not a spoiler. Everyone in this movie is just slightly off.
It's not just this. Everyone in this movie is either like broken or fucked up.
Yeah.
Like everyone in this movie is a misfit.
Exactly.
And it only kind of makes the.
There's no like societally normal people in this.
Yeah,
film.
it's just a movie about like broken people, and it just makes everything like it makes the movie work even better.
Yes.
Because like this woman, like she doesn't have time to raise the kids. She's always working.
Right. So she does repairs on like people's clothes.
Yeah, so she lets the aunt take care of the kids.
Yep. So the kids are watching TV with their aunt, and they're watching football. And the mom's like just working like her ass off,
and she's just like saying like, thank you so much for taking care of the kids. Like
they love you more than they love me. And she's like, no, they don't. Like, like you're just like busy and you can't take care of them all the time.
And then like they start talking about Grandpa a little, and the mom says like, She says something like Grandpa
said-
was a drunk.
Well, she said your grandpa was a drunk and he wasn't lost at sea.
We
died.
buried him.
We buried him. He's dead.
And she just gets like the woman, the main character, just gets like kind of like just like
Upset.
yeah,
Like
she's just like saying like, you know, he wasn't a drunk. Grandpa was like a great man.
he was a great man. He was a great seaman. And he
Yeah.
like he got lost at sea.
He got lost at sea,
And
and,
like they start fighting about it a little bit.
then she just kind of like lets it go, like whatever.
And they start watching TV again, and it's this like
There's football on TV.
yeah, there's football at first, and like the kids are talking about their heroes, like two of the
Football
big
players.
football stars.
And
I think it's for the Rams. I can't remember exactly.
yeah, it's
what it is.
whoever the fuck.
It might be a made up team. I'm not
No,
sure.
it's an actual team. It's some team in California. But yeah, they start talking about it, and the woman makes kind of like an offhand comment about like how beautiful they are.
Right. Well, and the kids are talking about how each of them has like a favorite person in the football team,
And like how they're like, oh, like I look up to them and all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
And
then like it cuts from there's
a commercial.
football to a commercial about a shaving ad.
Yeah.
And like it's a really weird shaving ad where like the girl's like not unless you have a clean shave, and like
Basically, like the guy like shaves and like she touches his face and it's like so smooth that like she doesn't want to go out.
well even in the commercial he's like, don't bruise your women,
Yeah.
like yeah,
Don't bruise her. Like
yeah,
yeah.
which is kind of telling in the in the third act.
Yeah, and again, she just same thing. She's just like talking about how beautiful the guy in the commercial is.
But then all of a sudden, the commercial starts talking to her. Remember, because it addresses her. He's like, "Don't you want a close shave, Molly?"
Don't you want a
Like,
close shave?
Starts talking like this is all in her head, of course.
Yeah.
Or we're led to believe it's all in her head.
Yeah, and then she gets, that just kind of ends, and like no one else sees it, obviously.
Right, and she gets kind of freaked out,
But the kids are like they're just laying on the couch, and she goes to get a drink. She has to go to work.
Yes. And she's like, takes like, it's not just like one drink though.
Nope.
She keeps pouring them and just chugging. Like, it's made to look like alcohol. So she's just chugging this alcohol, and the mom's like, why are you drinking? You gotta go to work. Like, stop drinking.
And she's just like, yeah, like really worried about how much she's drinking and all this stuff. And
the girl's like,
she's like,
oh,
you know what?
don't
And
worry.
she's like, you know what happened to Grandpa?
Yeah.
And she's like, don't talk about Grandpa.
Like, I'll be fine. Like, I'll be fine at work. I'm gonna go into work still.
But
then
as
she
she's drinking,
she starts hallucinating.
we get
Oh my god, this scene is so
scene
fucking
is like
weird.
this scene is when the movie like the first time I watched this, I was so like my fucking mouth was just like on the floor.
This scene made me legitimately uneasy.
It's so
The
fucking.
whole thing.
We watched a movie not that long ago called Devil Times 5.
Oh god.
Okay, there was a scene in that movie where it was a murder scene filmed in sepia tone and slow motion, and I shit on that scene. We both did, as being like one of the dumbest fucking scenes ever.
It's still one of the dumbest scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
This is like how you do that shit better.
Yeah.
Because in this scene, it's like, it's not like slow motion, but the audio is like warped.
It's like distorted. Yeah, they kind of like amplify it a little bit, and then like kind of, I don't know how they distort it, but
It's really uneasy.
I
I don't know. It's one of those things where like everything about the scene is just like designed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's like she's sleeping with these like football players.
So they're sitting at the bed, and she's like kneeling down in front of both of them.
Yeah.
Kind of like looking like she just did, something.
And like talking
And
about how beautiful
they're
they
both
are.
in their underwear, and she's talking about how beautiful they are.
And they're both like they're all kind of like back and forth, like basically objectifying each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're calling her beautiful. She's saying they're beautiful, and like how everyone looks up to them, and how, like why they're so beautiful and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she tells one of them to lay down.
She starts tying them up.
Well, and she's asking him what knots they can't get out of.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, like
she
I can
starts
get out of this.
tying-
Like,
Sailor's knots.
she's like, oh, sailor's knots. I can't untie this.
Yeah.
So she ties one of them up to like the post of the bed, and then ties his legs down. No, not ties his legs down, because She ties one of his legs down.
Yeah.
And then
Also, it's worth mentioning, considering like certain things that she says during the movie, that during the scene they're also smoking marijuana.
Yeah. So she gets on top of him and is like, "See if you can get out of this with only one foot."
Yeah.
And like he starts like caressing her with his foot and stuff like that.
So one of them so she ties up one of them and he like kind of
But only
falls asleep.
like half. Like,
Yeah.
So she ties up his hand and his leg.
Yeah. So one of them like falls asleep, and the other one is still talking, and she's just like kind of talking with him more and more, and he starts rubbing her with his leg.
And then she ties like their free legs together, and then she ties their free hands together.
Yeah.
And then as she's like talking to the other guy, she starts talking about like a close shave.
Mm-hmm.
Like how like, oh, do you want a close shave?
So first,
Like,
there's that part where she fucking, after he like rubs her leg, she like grabs his foot, remember?
yeah.
Like really aggressively.
Oh yeah, and almost like breaks it.
And
he's
he
like,
just kind of like, what the fuck, like, what are you doing?
yeah, and then she ties them together.
And then she sticks like a cloth in his mouth.
Yeah, so he can't talk anymore.
And then she goes to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And gets the
razor blade.
The razor, yeah.
And she's like, talk about a close shave, and like starts going like moving the razor down like the unconscious one's body.
Yeah.
While the other one's just like looking in
like
horror.
trying to like scream like muffled screams.
And then like it shows her going, like it doesn't show it, like
but
it's
you know
off,
what's happening.
It's off screen, but she goes down to where his penis would be, and starts like just moving her hand back and forth, and you see blood just spewing
as he's like screaming,
yeah,
like crazy. Yeah,
it's a straight castration scene.
yeah, and then it ends, and we're back to her
drinking
before going to work.
Yeah,
and it's fucking. It's crazy.
It's insane. It's really insane.
But at first you don't know, like, is it like, what the fuck was that? Is it real? Is that hallucination? What's going on?
Right.
And so she goes to work, and it's like this dingy dive bar kind of on the beach, and we see like the bar and everything, and then she shows up, and the guy's like, what the hell, like
he's like I would fire you if you weren't so quick about things.
He's like, it's 10 o'clock, you're supposed to be here at 8, like what's going on?
Like, why are you 3 hours late? And she's like, oh, like, at least I'm here.
And she's like, I'm not late.
Because she kind of avoids the question. She's like, at least I'm here. I'm not late, though.
Yeah, I'm not late. He's like, yeah, you are.
It's 10 o'clock.
And he, like, flat out says, like, look, the only reason I keep you around is because you sleep with me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And we get introduced to, like...
Billy. His name is Billy Bat.
Yeah.
He's the actor from the Shape...
No.
Oh, no, sorry, no. He's
No.
he's like a producer or something. I can't remember.
Oh, the guy at the bar?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we get introduced to all these people. There's like there's a bartender who she's sleeping with. There's this like older woman there who's like always like hopped up on pills and always has like some like crazy crazy thing to say. And then there's a producer guy at the bar. And they're all talking, and he's talking about he's having a party, and he wants like, the bartender to come over.
Right.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm having a virgin party.
Yeah.
And after he says that, like the main character says like some, I don't remember what the exact thing she says, but she says something that's like really like kind of like off.
Yeah.
About being a virgin.
And so she wakes up, but the party isn't yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
So so they do the whole bar scene. We get introduced to some more bartenders that kind of come into play at the end. Just the other older woman bartender. And then the next morning she wakes up next to the bar owner.
Yeah.
And she wakes up and he's watching TV.
And the news is talking about how last night around 9 p.m. these two football players were found murdered.
Huh. Imagine that.
Around the same time that she should have been at work.
And they mentioned that it's a gruesome murder. They won't won't give any more details, but it's like a pretty gruesome, like, they don't want to give any details because they don't know much about it, but it's pretty like awful what happened to them.
So I just want to say the bartender's name is Long John.
Yeah.
And the main character's name is Molly. So yeah, and then she wakes up and she's like, what's going on? And Long John says, they found two football players murdered. Sounds like some sort of weird sex thing. and she just like freaks out.
She's like, no, they can't be
She's
dead.
like, they can't be dead. Like they're my
nephew's heroes.
they're their heroes. Like they're not. What are they gonna do?
Well, they're gonna be so upset.
Yeah. And then she goes and she like freaks out, goes to a phone to try to like call the mom and like tell them all this, and she just like can't. She's like freaking out. She just can't process
handle
it.
Yeah, exactly. Probably because she just had a horrible hallucination about killing both of them.
Well. Well.
Yeah.
Let's just say that the hallucination is a little closer to home. But yeah, she's freaking out, and we see the whole time during the movie that she's very like childish.
Yes. She kind of like throws temper tantrums when she doesn't get her way.
Yeah.
She talks very like simplistically
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of like just disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll like start a sentence and then like go on to a different subject and then go on to a different subject and then like loses track very easily. Gets sidetracked.
So we get the first
like abuse scene.
It starts off very normal.
Yeah, I mean it starts off fine. Like
It's just like her talking about how her grandpa used to build like model ships.
yeah, and it's showing him building it and
it's showing her like next to him building this ship, and it's just all pretty normal. And then he like kind of like grabs her and like just like gets like really close to her face.
right.
Like he like puts his like face right up to her cheek.
Starts breathing all heavy and like
And it's just
that he's like it looks like he's trying to control himself.
it's so
It's so creepy. I hate it.
it's so well done.
He's like
And yeah, and again
He's
like
like-
everything like the music
his like
just like
voice starts his breath starts vibrating and like it's so creepy.
it's not as creepy as the next flashback though.
Oh god, no.
The closet.
Yeah, no.
Woo! So there's another flashback where it's her coming home.
So it shows the abuse and then like it shows like she's still trying to like contact the kids to tell them what happened and she like goes into the closet. Or I can't remember. Does she like try and go in the closet and then the flashback?
No,
happens
I
again?
don't remember how it starts.
I can't remember how it's triggered.
Yeah.
But like something triggers her into another flashback.
Yeah.
Like right away.
I think it's just like she says something about Grandpa again, about how like, you know, like he was a good person or something, and then we get this other flashback of it's like her coming home from school. Or
Her's a
something.
little girl coming home from school, and she takes off her jacket and opens the closet.
So she opens the closet, but then she like drops something right away.
Yeah, and
So she goes down and pick it up. Then she looks up.
and her dad is completely naked,
The
crouching in the closet, just staring at her.
the way this is done is so like
It is unsettling. Oh my god, it's so creepy.
it's so creepy. Like, 'cause like she just looks up, and you see like the way he's sitting is so fucking creepy because he's like
squatting.
he's like squatting and like kind of like just squeezed together. So we just see like his legs and his hands. And then she looks up and he's just completely naked, like kind of like grinning at her.
yeah,
And she starts saying "Papa,"
yeah. And then
but
it gets
every time she says it, it's like
it gets more like distorted, and like the bass gets heavier and heavier on it until it just sounds like this clicking sound.
it's just so fucking creepy.
It's fucking unsettling. Is not even a good word to
Yeah.
describe it.
It's so well done.
So then, so she's like kind of freaking out still, and then the bar owner, Long John, says like, "Hey, we got to go to this party. Like, you know, he invited me. I can't like refuse my customers.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna go to this party."
And she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to go. She's just like she'd rather just not go. But they go.
But she goes anyway. So they go, and it's like this really ritzy, like kind of house. He has a pool inside.
He has a pool, and there's all these
like a hot tub, and all these naked women, and all this stuff.
There's all these like Hollywood people there, and she's just kind of looking at this painting
Of Venus.
Yeah.
The goddess Venus.
Yeah.
And he comes over. He's like, Venus, you know, the goddess of the sea.
Mhm.
It's told that like, you know, he tells the story of how like Zeus came down and was tricked, and like his sperm fell in the ocean
and gave birth
to Venus.
Yeah.
And like,
and she's just like, no, you're lying. That's not true.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
And they start talking, and he kind of and he starts kind of flirting with her.
He puts the moves on her.
But then she says something that's very telling. She tells him that like, you're too soft for me.
Yes. And he's like, well, do you want to find out?
And he's like, yeah, like basically saying like, don't try me.
And then the next scene is the cops. So before we get that payoff,
That scene.
So there's these two detectives that are investigating the murder of these two football stars.
I love these two characters, by the way.
They're like the most normal people in the
They're
entire
so
movie.
like blunt.
They're so like normal. It's insane.
They're so like blunt and like sarcastic.
Yeah.
It's just because everyone else is like so like always like dodging their questions, and they're just. Like,
I would argue that everyone else is like kind of disconnected.
Yeah.
And these are the two most like connected like people in the whole.
And
movie.
they're just like, this is fine, whatever.
Right. So they come they knock on the mom's door, like the main mom's, and they talk to her and say like, hey, like, you know, do you know anything about?
And they start looking at her the quilts that she makes.
Yes.
Because it's essentially very heavily implied that the cloth in that scene that she tied them up with was the mom's.
Yeah.
So they're immediately looking around and like asking like, where the hell do you get this?
Right. Where do you
like,
get all your material?
And then she kind of like dances around the question, and one of them's like, so basically you just take people's stuff and just like use it without their permission? And she's just like, well, I guess you could say that.
She's like, I have a lot of clients and I need a lot of like.
Yeah.
I need a lot of material, so anything like cut off of that material I keep and then use for like my. She's like being very dodgy
evasive
about all of her answers because she doesn't want to like lead anything on.
Yeah. And then they keep asking her like, do you know anything about football?
Yeah, and she says, no, I don't know.
But as soon as like they
that.
say that, like she kind of like gets more like
uncomfortable. No, absolutely, I don't know anything about football.
She remembers.
She gets to like they start sweating her a little bit. And then they just leave because they're done questioning her.
Yeah.
And then she's all like freaked out. And then we go back to the party.
Oh
and
boy.
It's the older gentleman. Well, he's not a gentleman. The older man. And her and the main girl Molly.
The producer, you mean?
Yeah, producer.
Yeah. Speaking of uncomfortable scenes.
They're sitting on the bed, and he's like trying to make out with her,
and she like bites him.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, you like."
No, he like says like, "You fucking bit me, you bitch," and like just smacks her, and she just like kind of laughs it off, like, "Oh, that's it." Like,
like she told him she wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I'll comment on like, I guess the psychology of this later, but like, and he just like like whatever. They go back into it, and he kind of like walks right up to her and like unzips his fly, and just kind of starts telling her like
and she starts like she opens her mouth really wide
and starts like going to bite his dick, and he like starts freaking out and
like he holds her back and she's like just trying to chomp his.
Well, she's like there's eventually like she kind of like grabs his arm.
She grabs his hand. Remember?
And like you hear like a snap,
like crunches his hand.
Yeah.
Like she has like superhuman strength or something.
And then like he like finally like kicks her off the bed, and she just like laughs, and there's like this really creepy shot of her like getting up from the bed and like telling him how she's gonna like basically like rip him apart.
Yeah.
And he just freaks the fuck out
and like pushes her out of the room. And
so they're like starts fighting, but then like the crowd outside like kind of walks around and they see him pushing her down.
Well, he pushes her out of the bedroom into the party, and she falls on the ground.
And everyone like freaks out, like thinking
like, what are you doing? Why are you hitting her?
Yeah, like thinking that like he like abused her.
And then she starts playing the victim.
And then she wakes up like not like just kind of like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
And it's the shaving commercial guy is there.
Yes.
And she just sees him and is like, "Oh, I've seen you on TV.
Where have I seen you from?"
And so then there's a scene of her, Long John, the other bartender, and then the TV commercial guy and the woman in the commercial.
Yep, and they're all talking at a bar, and they're all like just chatting and laughing, and she's like laying it on thick that she's interested in the.
And she's just like she starts asking like. She asks the woman, like, "Do you love him?" And the woman just, like, laughs. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, "Well, I've seen you on the commercial. Do you love him?" Like, again, childlike. Because she sees him in the commercial.
When she's even,
with the woman, and she's assuming that, like... Because there's a thing, like, her character also has a thing where, like, anything she sees on TV, she like takes it as like fact.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't get like the disconnect between
Right.
like the fake world and the real world. So she's just asking like, do you love him?
Well, because she even says at one point, I think, in this scene, that she thinks she might love him.
No, she flat out says, I want him.
I want him.
And everyone just kind of laughs. But then that laughter turns into like awkward silence.
Yeah. 'Cause
When they
she's,
realize
like,
that
she's serious.
she's not really playing along.
But I love it because they kind of treat her as she's not like
That she's not crazy.
she's not like crazy, but like she's clearly something is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like something is wrong.
But yeah, something's wrong. But everyone else kind of plays it off, and the guy he's very like, I guess, willing to take advantage of it
yes,
because he just wants to get his dick wet.
yes.
So he's like, whatever.
And he gives her his number.
Yeah.
And then she goes on the pier again and like goes into the tattoo
She
shop.
goes gets a tattoo
Yeah, she gets a tattoo of a mermaid on
just
her
on her stomach.
And she's asking the guy like, why do they call you like something Dracula? And he's like, well, that's my name. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a nickname. That's my name.
That's my name.
And she starts talking about how she had a nickname, and like how people always called her that, but like, you know, she didn't really like it or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, oh God. And then we get, as she's getting the tattoo, we get another scene, another flashback scene.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just a quick one.
Oh boy.
But it's like the little girl's feet, and oh my God, I hate even describing the scene. It is so goddamn uncomfortable.
Because you know.
It's so bad. Like, oh God, it makes me sick.
Because you just see like
You see her feet sticking up, and then you see the dad's feet
a bigger pair of feet
on top of it.
on top of her, like thrusting,
Yes.
and that's it. Like,
Ah,
and you
and
just
then-
hear like this like distorted screaming.
Yep. And then he's like moaning, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh God.
And you know,
I hate it.
and again, you know exactly what's
I
happening.
hate even revisiting that because it's just it's so
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and I hate it. It's just awful.
It's great. It's fucking again. It doesn't take. It takes a lot to make a movie that actually like disturbs me.
Yeah.
Especially now, like I consider myself pretty desensitized. So if a movie actually manages to fucking make me feel uncomfortable, like props to that.
Yeah. So the next day, she's like in is it Long John's bed again? And she's like, she calls the actor.
Yeah. She's there and she's talking to him and like the guy's like talking and he's like, "Did you say?" And she's talking to him on the phone, and he's just kind of like joking around, like he was drunk, so he doesn't really remember that he like slept with her.
Yeah.
But she's very like talking like, "Oh, like I love you," and blah blah blah.
Right.
And he's like, "Did you say something to like so and so, like the other woman?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just told her that I really like you, and I mentioned to her that if she ever sees you again, I'll kill her." Ha ha ha! Just kind of like casually.
Oh yeah, no, we should mention. Sorry, I said Long John. She wakes up in bed with the actor.
Well, she calls him on the phone to tell him all this.
Oh, then no, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, because she calls him on the phone and she's telling him all this about how like, she told the girlfriend, the other woman, that she'd kill her, and she's kind of like laughs it off, and he also laughs it off, like, "Oh, whatever." It's not a big deal.
And then before this another insane scene, we get another insane flashback where she's like watching the TV and there's a special report on the murder. So she goes into this like flashback
Of her watching TV as a kid and watching like
and she's like
a clown.
she's like eating and like she's eating on the bed and the dad's laying right next to her like half naked.
He's wearing like his fucking
Like just like underalls.
yeah.
Yeah. And she's like eating and
watching this clown on TV.
and like laughing. And the dad's like rolling around and then she like keeps laughing and eating and he wakes up and gets pissed off
And like
and then he like yells at her and then kicks the TV over, but you
Yeah.
can't really make out what he's yelling at her.
no,
'cause
it's
this,
distorted.
like, distorted, like really uneasy sounding, like almost like a metal grinding.
It's more
noise.
disturbing that you can't understand what he's saying.
Yes.
Like the sound effects and everything make it more disturbing.
So he kicks the TV over and like she like starts crying, and then
This transition, because it transitions from like that sound of like him loudly kicking the TV over to gunshots.
Yep, and the woman's in the parking lot of the actor.
The woman who was in the shaving commercial with the guy is in the parking lot outside of his house shooting at his car.
Yes.
And there's like these two like guys just like watching it. And one of them's like, "Is she killing the car?" And the other guy's like, "Yep."
And he she shoots both the tires out, and like the actor gets up and like yells at the window and like.
And he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And she's like, "You betrayed me! Like, that fucking bitch said she'd kill me." And she starts to shoot at him, and he fights her, and she starts yelling about like how, because earlier he promised her that he would take her on a trip to China.
Yeah. And
she's like, "You promised me you'd take me to China." And one of the guys is like, "Oh, she's not going to China, is she?" And the one's like, "Yep."
Nope. And then like we see the two investigators, and they're like
that they arrested her, and they're interviewing this guy.
Yeah, and they're interviewing a guy, and then how'd they come across the piece of clothing? I think he had it.
Yeah.
So he had a piece of clothing that the mom made.
Yeah.
Her sister,
mm-hmm.
Molly's sister, and they look at it, and there's a medallion on it,
mm-hmm.
and it says one of the initials to one of the football stars.
One of the football stars
that was killed.
But first they are thinking, they're kind of suspecting it's the angry ex.
Yeah.
But even then, they're like kind of talking like the guy's like, she could have shot me, and one of the cops just makes an offhanded comment like, he's like, "Trust me, with her aim, I don't think you're in any danger."
Yeah.
Just, and he keeps talking, and like the guy's very like cocky, like, "Oh, I slept with this other woman, and she just got became the jilted ex."
Yeah.
So he's making it kind of very like,
right.
It's not a big deal. Which it's the theme follows.
Because he's like a playboy. He just sleeps with a lot of women.
And then we get a scene back at the bar.
Yeah, and they're talking about what the hell are they talking about?
Well, they bring up they start talking about all they start talking about the football player murders.
Right, yeah.
And they start saying all this stuff, and like how the mom is worried because the cops interviewed her, and she's worried that they're gonna know.
Yeah, because the mom comes to the bar.
And she starts she doesn't say like flat out, but she starts like telling Molly like, "You understand, the cops are gonna know.
You gotta hide. Like,
they're gonna find out, and
you gotta run away."
And Long John's like, "They're gonna know what? Like, what are you talking about?" And she just like saying nothing. She's just like, she's like, "Don't worry, Long John. They already found who killed him. I saw it on TV." Because there's like a TV report that says like the cops have a suspect. So she's just like, "Oh, they already have them.
They already found the suspect. It's fine.
They found the crazy person who killed them."
Yeah, and then like is this also the scene where they start giving her pills?
This is it because
the older woman starts giving her pills.
She keeps getting headaches.
Yeah. So the older woman starts giving her pills to control her headaches.
And the headaches coincide with whenever she has flashbacks or whenever she goes fucking crazy and murders people.
Right.
So the older woman who's also like hopped up on her pills herself starts giving her pills.
Yep.
And it's that crazy fucking scene where she's talking and like, "I know who killed the football players." And one of them was like, "Oh yeah, who?" He's like, "Fags."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, but the TV report said that they were probably sleeping with a woman.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Don't you know? All football players are fags."
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere.
It's great. But again, because everyone in the movie is crazy.
Yeah.
Like some sort of misfit. And this woman is just like, she just hopped up on pills the whole time.
Right.
And she just has all sorts of crazy opinions on everything. But then...
And then we get a scene of...
It's the commercial again.
Yeah, but this is like the hallucination commercial.
So she sees the shaving cream commercial again. And then the commercial ends. And she starts saying... And the guy in the commercial starts talking to her.
Yeah, like, "Molly, do you want to give me you should shave me.
You want to give me a close shave?" And he takes like the razor from the safety razor.
And like starts like taking it down his chin.
And down his chest.
And then he like starts like, he cuts it along his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like drags it across like down his chest. And like all the way down to his penis.
And that ends. And then Molly is in Long John's like apartment.
Yes.
And he starts kind of questioning her, like you said something before really strange. And then he says like, when did you lose your virginity?
And she like freaks out.
And she's just like, what are
She's
you
like-
talking about? Like, I don't think I was ever a virgin. And he's like, what the hell does that mean? Like, when was it? Like, what happened?
Yeah, like how could you not know?
Like, how do you not know? And like,
Yeah.
gets really like worried. And she just kind of like, plays it off like, and she says like, oh, you know, it's just a figure of speech.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And he's just like, okay,
It's
whatever.
like, whatever. And then the next scene is Molly waking up next to the actor.
Yeah, because she also during that previous scene says like, Long John, I think you're just upset because I'm sleeping with.
Yeah, whatever the actor's name is, Billy Bat, I think.
It was like McFeely.
McFeely. Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
Some crazy ass name.
Yeah.
And you know, but Long John he's more worried that like there's something seriously like wrong with her.
There's something up. There's
and
something.
she keeps getting headaches.
Like he's finally snapped out of this weird like sense of like, you know, everything's fine.
Yeah, and she keeps having these headaches.
Right.
But yeah, the next scene is she wakes up after having sex with the actor. He's in the bathroom.
Yes.
And starts shaving.
And then can you guess what's gonna happen next? She comes over and starts shaving him.
And it's all going fine.
It's going fine, and then she grabs the razor blade.
It goes all into slow-mo.
And like cuts across his neck, and just like in the commercial, and like down his chest, and like starts like
slicing his dick off.
Like castrating him.
Yeah. And then like after she castrates him, like, she's just covered in blood, and starts like scratching at like the tattoo on her stomach.
Yeah, and like then she like rubs the blood all over her body.
Yeah.
And then it's the next day, and she's like sleeping in Long John's bed.
And he wakes up and freaks out.
There's like blood all over his bed.
And she's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, and he's like, "What the hell happened? What did you do?"
Like what happened? Why are you covered in blood?
And she gives him a bullshit explanation that she got this tattoo, and she was unhappy.
Well, no, she gives him a couple excuses.
Yeah.
One, she says it was like a bad period.
Yeah.
And she gets like really upset and like really mad at him. And then she like calms down and then says that she tried to cut off her tattoo.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
Yeah.
And she gets like upset again because like he's not like taking her seriously and he's not like understanding her feelings.
Yeah.
Basically. And yeah. Oh God. Yep.
We get the cops talking to the mom again, and this scene is fucking great, because by this point you know that they've already told her that they're like suspecting Molly, and she's just like freaking out because it's gonna hurt her business.
Right.
That she's related to like a fucking psychopath murderer.
She like didn't care as much as that it was her sister.
She's like, you don't understand. But it's my whole life. It's my whole life. Like, what am I gonna do? No one's gonna come to me. I'm not gonna have any money and take the kids to the movies. And then after she stops ranting. One of the cops is like, "Ma'am, if it's like a problem, I'll give you $5 to take the kids to the movies."
Yeah, I don't care.
And she's just like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Like,
Where
do you know about
that $5?
Do you know about inflation? Like, you know how many like, $5 goes nowhere." But the best thing about the scene is the cops are just sitting there like, just kind of like, they're just like stone faced.
Yeah.
Just like being straight and narrow while she's just like freaking out about this.
Yeah, they don't care. And then this is where the two kids come in after the cops leave, and they're talking about how they miss Molly and like how they want her back.
And the mom is just like, Molly's sick.
Molly's sick, and they're like, "We miss Molly."
And she's like, they're like, "She's not sick. We know about how you lied to her. We know Grandpa died at sea, and like,
yeah, we miss Molly. We don't want you."
And she slaps them.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And she's like, "Oh," like she like tries to apologize, but like,
so good.
And that's kind of the last we see of the sister.
It's so good.
And then we're back at Long John's house, and Molly is like just sitting there, disconnected,
hopped up on pills,
and like she's watching TV, and you see the clown again.
Yeah.
And she says like, "I don't." She's just like mind flowing, just like, "I don't know." Like, didn't she say something like, "I don't know why I killed them."
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, they were so beautiful. Why?
And he's like,
"Why did I hurt them?"
Yeah. He's like, "Who are you talking about?"
Long John's like, "What are you talking about?
Who did you kill? Like, what's going on?"
She's like, "Those two football players didn't deserve that.
They were so beautiful.
They were so beautiful. Why
I don't know why. Yeah.
So she basically confesses that she killed both the Like in this the weird thing, and then oh god,
The
I have been dreading explaining this scene. The ultimate.
well, this is it.
The ultimate because we're about at the end of the movie.
This is the big one.
And this is the ultimate uncomfortable flashback scene. Is
so
horrible.
that previous one with the legs on top of each other, you see the whole thing. And you see that he's raping her as she's young, and then he like essentially gets a heart attack or something,
and like dies on
top of her.
Oh, it's ultimate. So bad. Oh god,
it's the ultimate horror.
I feel like dirty.
No, it's
so visceral.
And again, the sound effects, everything is just it's fucking top notch.
It's all distorted and
like when she starts screaming, it's not like a normal scream. It's just like a super distorted like. Also, we keep getting these like insane like visions of like the bodies cut up. Remember?
Yeah.
It's like
her on a boat and all the bodies are cut up.
They're like cut in half. Like they're it's like fish that are gutted.
And it's like this weird like pink and turquoise like filter they use.
And it's like her weird. Like face like screaming at it.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. And we get another scene with the cops talking to the producer. And this scene's hilarious because every time the producer says something, there's like a woman next to him in the hot tub, completely naked. And she like kind of
credits pretty much everything he says.
And he's like, well, I just wanted to sleep with her and just
and she attacked me.
Nothing wrong. And the woman's like, yeah, that means he probably tried to like be too rough with her or something. And he just like keeps talking, and then she like backtracks whatever he says to like shit all over him.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, why, is something going on? And one of the cops says like, well, see, if you tried watching TV and you tried looking at the real world, you might see something.
Yeah. And then he's like,
did something happen to McFeely? And he's like, yeah, it's over.
Or he said something like, let's just say he's played his last act or something.
He's like played his last tune.
Yeah.
And then we get this scene of like I don't remember which house they're driving to, but it's the old bartender and Molly. And as they're driving, she's just like giving her more and more pills.
Yeah.
And just telling her, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. It's nothing, like, it's no big deal. You just had a bad moment.
Yep.
No big deal.
Like, everyone goes a little crazy sometimes. Yeah. It's fine. So they drive to Long John's house.
Yeah.
And they get in and, like, they sit her on the couch and then just, like one by one.
And she's just increasingly, like, kind of just, like, talking, like, insanity.
Yeah.
About the dad and everything, and then like she just looks at those pills, and like Long John just kind of like he knows what's gonna happen.
Like, you want more pills, Molly? And she's like, yes, I just have a horrible headache.
Because he knows that it's over.
So one by one, the old woman and Long John start feeding her pills,
and she just keeps taking them, and the kids show up.
Oh God. And then she like faints. She almost faints and like slides down the bed, and like. The two kids sit by her.
And she's like, I love you so much. Just always remember, like, like Grandpa was a good man and all this stuff.
And, like, the old woman is like, we can't have the kids be here for this. Like,
they can't do this. Yeah.
And, like, Long John just doesn't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
And so the kids, the fucking kids start feeding her the pills.
Too, yeah.
And they just all assist suicide Molly.
Yeah.
Because she just passes out. Presumably dead.
Yeah, because the kids eventually leave, and we get the shot of the cops knocking on the door, and we see Long John go to greet them, and then we see Molly like kind of pass out, and like it goes like a POV shot of like,
and it's like this,
the camera going distorted, and like that she's dying,
and then it goes like to this big open ocean,
mm-hmm.
and you just see a little raft with a giant sail on it,
and it's just Molly,
and it's just floating down the
ocean away. And credits.
End credits. Holy shit.
I love this movie.
It's a great movie.
There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here.
There's so much to unpack here. Like, again, I've been thinking about it since Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot.
There's a lot to think
about.
There's
a lot of stuff you could take away from this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like.
Just like, I don't know. It's such a great, like, just picture of abuse and like how damaging abuse is.
It's totally
Not just to like the one person,
to like
everyone around it.
Yeah.
And how like everyone tries to like discredit it, and how like, I mean, come on, the scenes of like everyone just like, she's clearly unhinged.
Well, like everyone thinking she's normal when clearly something, she needs help. Like someone needs to listen to her.
Like it's a cry for help, and everyone's solution is either it's fine, or give her more pills,
or drink more.
Yeah. And it's all like that's all like real shit. It's all real shit, but it's in a cheap 70s B movie.
Well, it's also kind of like us, like almost like how some of like people that have been abused like will blame themselves.
It's not just like the blaming themselves, but also like one of my favorite things about it is like the people who are abused will often like they'll still show like affection for the person who abused them.
Exactly.
They won't like
how much he admired her dad and all that.
And also how like it does turn people like violent. I mean, like she is violent.
Well, also like
and like aggressive, and also how like she didn't grow up, because during the whole movie she talks like a kid.
Like the abuse stunted her growth.
Yeah, like anytime she doesn't get her way, she starts pouting like a child.
Yeah,
and it's all done really well.
Well, it's also like her views on men, how she sexualizes men.
Yeah, well, it's like everything with her is sexualized.
Yes,
like she's not. The relationships she's having aren't emotional. It's just like sex.
Yeah,
and that's it. It's just empty.
And she basically becomes a siren.
Yeah,
like. And
also, like the greatest part is like how like she'll criticize it in one scene. Like there's one scene where she talks about like women who like sleep with men and stuff, but then like the next scene, that's just what she does.
Well, it's because she's totally unhinged. She doesn't know what's going on, and like how she discredits tattoos and then gets a tattoo on her stomach,
and it's the same tattoo. We
should mention, when the dad dies, he has the same tattoo on his stomach.
Yeah, and also those, because I mean we've all seen movies about like abuse or whatever, but man, those flashbacks are some of the most unsettling.
I had such a hard time watching those.
It's so unsettling and so well done, and like I have so much like respect.
It's disturbing.
Yeah,
but like that's how it's meant to be.
Well, it's disturbing, but it doesn't feel cheap.
No,
if that makes sense.
It doesn't feel like they're trying to get a reaction out of you.
It's not exploitive.
Yeah,
like it's actually well done.
Like you could argue this is sexploitation.
Oh, no.
But like I don't think it is.
I'm sorry. It's
a lot of reviewers have said it's sexploitation.
Well, this was very controversial.
Well, I wonder why.
I mean, we saw this movie got banned in the UK for like 20 years.
Yeah,
like this was a controversial movie because I mean, first of all, like I don't know. Can you imagine like advertising this thing?
You can't. You couldn't.
Because you have the title. Like when I first heard about this movie, like the title, I assume like it makes you think supernatural.
Well, and the poster too.
And the poster, but then you watch it and it's like, no, it's like, it's real world like horror.
Yeah.
Like real shit, and it's done really well. I don't know.
The acting is good. I think the cinematography is really good.
Oh, the cinematography is great.
I think like the cameraman, whoever he was, like
the settings.
Oh man, it's really good.
Like the fucking weird use of like distorted sound effects.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Again,
well, like I it's kind of one of those movies that is purposefully trying to make you feel uncomfortable.
The whole thing, yeah.
And it doesn't ever stop making you feel uncomfortable.
And everything about it, like the way she talks, the constant, like almost like disconnected way of talking, and like
this movie is very effective. And the more you think about it, the more like
I think about like if you want to talk about like damage, like how she's talking to the kids and she's essentially brainwashing the kids now.
Thinking that their grandpa is this like great guy. He's like this really good guy, and the sister, who also seems kind of like odd,
but she's just like she's too mentally weak to like kind of stand up to it.
Exactly, because she knows what happened.
She knows,
but like she won't admit it to the kids because she like obviously you don't want to bring that up.
She's probably trying to shelter them, but she doesn't understand that like what Molly's been doing is like permanently like destroying like the kids' relationship with their own mom.
Right.
again, there's a lot.
Well, and they're also basically like at the end, like saying like, with the assisted suicide, I think maybe they're trying to say something like, like the way she isn't exactly all her fault.
No, it's not.
Like, because of the abuse fucked her up so much that like the only way
Yeah.
she could get out of that, because she wouldn't understand going to
That's
jail.
the thing. She wouldn't.
She wouldn't understand
Yeah.
going to jail or why she was going to jail.
Yeah.
Or like what to do while she was in jail. And I think at the end, like Long John and the like older lady like kind of like snapped back into reality.
They realized that like,
and
this
realized
is the only thing.
this is the only way to save Molly.
Yeah.
The only way she can be saved is if
Yeah.
she dies.
Well, because that's another thing. The movie never. It like it does a pretty good job of like making you understand that like she's not just a monster. Like it's not entirely her fault.
Well, there's like a reason she's doing all this.
Yeah.
And there's a reason she like hates men.
That she's the way she is.
Yeah.
And it's all done very well. And also like the craziest thing about this movie is that like there's moments of humor in this that genuinely work well,
Like the two detectives.
but they don't feel cheap. Like
Well, they don't lessen the experience.
like they don't take away, like you'll have a scene that's just really disturbing,
Yeah.
and then the next scene is funny,
Yeah.
and then back to disturbing.
Well, because I mean, yeah, it really works well with like the kind of like breaking away for a little bit of comedy, so you don't just have this like just barrage of like this like
Darkness.
darkness. Yeah.
Yeah.
As comedic relief. Sorry, that was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it has comedic relief, but like it's effective comedic relief, and it doesn't happen so often that you're like, okay, just get on with the story.
Yeah.
Like it's effective, but it's also it
And the comedic relief is also,
it just feels like it's in the right place.
and it's still like it's still doing the story in addition to the comedic relief.
Well, and they never once make fun of her abuse or
no.
anything like that. They're very careful about like that because they never once.
The piss, like they're not taking the piss out of like, the serious like disturbing stuff. It's always just kind of like the shitty producer character.
Right.
It's like, it's just some fucking goon who tried to sleep with a woman,
Yeah.
and like they're taking the piss out of him. So it's not like they're not making fun of the abuse or anything that's actually like a serious thing.
Right.
No, the whole thing is.
It's great.
I have a massive amount of respect for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Just
So
pride.
can you tell what our review or what our shitty to pretty reader is gonna like?
Yeah, this is the easiest 10 out of 10
10.
I would ever give.
I give it more. I hate that. Well, we've got 3 winners.
We do.
I would argue these 3 films don't deserve to be on our podcast.
The funny thing is,
I'm glad they are, but
Yeah.
they don't deserve to be
yeah,
because they're actually really good 70s horror movies.
this is. I can say this. This is one of my favorite 70s horror movies.
It's one of my
so
favorites
fucking.
too. Yeah.
Because I mean, why do you what do you watch horror for?
This
To be freaked out.
or
And
to
guess what?
be uncomfortable.
Guess what?
This
This
does
is
all
fucking
of it.
freaky.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not supernatural. It's real world
Horror.
things.
Like this could actually happen and does happen,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it happens
Like,
all the time.
I hate like it does happen. Like it's awful.
But it's done. But
But,
also,
like-
it is done in like, I don't know. It's done in a way that makes it unique.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you could make a movie like this and just play it like completely like straight, whereas this doesn't, and it just makes it more unique.
I think it's more effective too.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I love this movie.
me too. I think it's really good, and you definitely should go watch it.
Everyone,
I
10 out of
will.
10,
I will warn you. It is very disturbing.
as you've probably noticed.
It is very disturbing. It is uncomfortable as hell to watch.
Yeah, this is like the kind of movie where, I don't know, you I'm not gonna say that you'll have an enjoyable experience watching it.
I didn't enjoy my time watching it, but it is effective. It is so effective.
Yeah, when I first watched it, like, I don't know, I can't say I enjoyed it necessarily, but once it's done, I felt like you knew, like, once it's finished, you're like, you watched something great,
Yeah.
and you watched something that is like respectable, and that's how I felt. I had like a massive respect for this thing.
Me too. But yeah, so that was The Witch Who Came from the Sea.
Good shit, boy.
Yeah, Great shit.
Great shit.
Quick update. Not that it's anytime soon, I guess, but we are doing a live stream.
Absolutely unexpected, Will.
Really?
Because
we didn't say that we do one every month.
And if you want to hear the story about how we are the biggest idiots on the world in regards to audio, please tune into the live stream.
Please tune into the live stream. It's a really funny story. Come watch us. Come hang out with us. Watch us play shitty games. Chat with us on YouTube or,
But most importantly, tune in to hear the story.
But we're going to do it at the end of the month. That's the last Sunday. It's the 31st.
The 31st.
The 31st of March is when we're doing our next live stream. I will post it on Facebook. We're going to be all on there. Remember
We
to
will spam the shit out of it.
For once, because I always forget.
That's fine. It's fine.
So, just remember to go to our YouTube page, subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified right when we go live, and then you can chat with us all day. Please, come hang out with us, hear the story, and if you don't, if you don't have time to watch all of it, maybe just watch some of it and then go to work or whatever you have to do.
Go jack off, whatever you have to do.
Whatever you have to do, it'll be posted on our YouTube. You can watch it. You can jump around. You can watch us play shitty games all day. Just, we love hanging out with you guys. We love talking to you guys. So please, join us on the last of the month.
Yeah.
But for now, I think we're gonna call it there.
Yeah.
And
go watch this movie.
Go watch this movie. Amazon Prime.
Be good to yourselves.
The Witch Who Came from the Sea.
Yeah.
Be good to yourself, not only to yourselves, but other people.
Be good to yourselves.
This movie, don't do this shit.
Yeah, no.
Don't do this shit. Okay?
Don't.
You fucking monsters.
Also, if anybody knows any other movies like this, I want to know.
Please suggest them, because I would love to watch more like this. Real horror.
Real horror.
Yes.
What a fucking concept.
Not supernatural, real horror.
Yeah. Real good shit.
Yep.
Which we will ruin with our next movie, but we'll get there.
Yes. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. We really
and for hanging in there.
It. Yep.
For our two
Thank
episodes.
you for letting... we'll explain why the audio is so bad. It's so embarrassing.
It's the dumbest shit ever.
It is so embarrassing. I hang my head. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. As always, for They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
And this has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. We're not audio experts.